You know what? I think it's unfair for me to comment in I guess maybe on behalf of the industry. All I can say is this: the time that we spent with Shedeur, and what he's done throughout his college career is impressive. He's an impressive young man. He's a really good quarterback. Sometimes fit comes into play, and I'd also say this: there are four more.
Andrew Berry just hit the Browns' depth chart like it's a reality TV twist nobody saw coming. Forget roses and final picks. He basically told Dylan Gabriel, "Thanks for playing," and slid Shedeur Sanders into the spotlight like the new star of Cleveland's football soap opera. While the entire NFL world was expecting the safe, predictable move, Berry said, "Nah," and flipped the script so hard that even Deion Sanders probably did a double take. This isn't just a depth chart shuffle. This is Cleveland declaring war on boring football and crowning their golden boy as the future, whether you like it or not. Listen up, because what just happened in Cleveland is the kind of move that makes you question everything you thought you knew about NFL front offices. We're talking about a general manager who looked at conventional wisdom, laughed in its face, and decided to make the type of decision that'll have ESPN analysts arguing for the next 6 months straight.
Now it's Shedeur Sanders, right? I mean, there is just so much content, so much debate, so much vitriol over Shedeur Sanders. They have remained relevant even when they're not winning. And I really ended up liking him as a person as well, and I still do. I think they really looked at it and thought, he's going to be fine here. So it really hasn't been him as much as it has been everything around him. And a lot of it is social media and regular media, but it's really not Shedeur putting himself in the eye of the storm. It's more so just all of the ancillary stuff around him.
So let me paint you the picture here. You've got Dylan Gabriel, seasoned, experienced, the kind of quarterback coaches draw up on whiteboards when they're explaining safe choices. This dude has a resume longer than a CVS receipt, college experience that spans multiple programs, and the type of steady hand that supposedly screams NFL ready. Then you've got Shedeur Sanders, flashy, controversial, carrying a last name that comes with its own built-in Wi-Fi connection to every camera and microphone in America. Now, any normal GM looks at this situation and thinks, okay, let's ease the rookie in, give Gabriel the first crack, play it safe. But Andrew Berry? Nah, man. This dude woke up and chose chaos. He looked at that depth chart and said, you know what Cleveland needs? A quarterback controversy that'll make people actually care about Browns football again. And here's where it gets absolutely wild, because this wasn't just some random decision made in a vacuum. The industry insiders are calling Shedeur impressive, talking about what he's accomplished throughout his college career. One source straight up said he's an impressive young man, really good quarterback, but then dropped that loaded comment about fit comes into play. Translation? Sometimes talent isn't enough if you don't mesh with the system. But Berry looked at all that noise and basically said, watch me make this fit work. You want to know what's really cooking behind the scenes? Let me break down what actually went down in Cleveland, because this story has more layers than your grandmother's lasagna. During rookie camp, Shedeur wasn't just participating, he was dominating. We're talking about a kid who walked into that facility and started beating out Gabriel from day one. OTAs, minicamp, training camp, it was the Shedeur Sanders show. Dylan Gabriel out there completing 20 to 30% of his passes during practice runs, looking shaky, uncertain. Meanwhile, Shedeur's dropping dimes at 70 to 80% completion rates, looking smooth as butter in the pocket. Fans are refreshing Twitter feeds, waiting for practice updates, watching this rookie methodically dismantle everything they thought they knew about quarterback hierarchies. If you think Andrew Berry wasn't paying attention to those numbers, you're living in fantasy land. This man was taking notes, making calculations, and probably texting Deion Sanders at midnight asking, what did you feed this kid growing up? But let's keep it real for a second. This isn't just about football stats and practice completion percentages. Cleveland isn't just trying to win games here. They're trying to sell hope, excitement, something that'll make their fan base actually believe again. And what better way to inject life into a franchise that's been flatlining for decades than to crown the most marketable, headline-grabbing quarterback as your future? Dylan Gabriel might give you solid, dependable football, the kind that gets you 8 to 9 wins and a wild card spot if you're lucky. But Shedeur Sanders? This dude gives you headlines, national attention, primetime games, and fans tweeting before he's even taken a snap. That's the difference between managing a football team and building a brand. And Barry knows exactly what game he's playing. Here's where the story gets even juicier. Remember, we're talking about a franchise that's been cycling through quarterbacks. Like they're changing Netflix passwords. The Browns have started more quarterbacks since 1999 than some teams have had head coaches. At this point, the safe choice isn't actually safe. It's just another guaranteed disappointment with a different face. S.O. Barry looked at this situation and thought, why not swing for the fences? Why not bet on the kid with the $1 million arm and the primetime genetics? Because here's the thing about Shedeur. He doesn't just survive under pressure. He thrives in it. Remember Colorado? This man played behind an offensive line that looked like it was assembled from Craigslist ads, dodging defenders like he was auditioning for American Ninja Warrior, and still managed to put up video game numbers, if he can survive that circus. Cleveland's offensive line is basically luxury seating. But wait, it gets better. Because Andrew Barry didn't just make this decision in isolation. According to sources, the Cleveland Browns owner wanted absolutely nothing to do with Shedeur or the Sanders family. Let that sink in for a minute. The owner, the guy who signs the checks and makes the final calls, reportedly had zero interest in bringing this kind of attention and controversy to Cleveland. But Andrew Barry? This absolute madman looked his boss in the eye and basically said, "Trust me on this one." And somehow, some way, he made it happen. That's not just ballsy. That's career-defining, legacy-making type stuff. Barry put his reputation on the line for a fifth-round pick that half the league probably thought was more hype than substance.
What is going on in Cleveland? Let me know what you guys would do. Would you keep Shedeur? In my opinion, from what I've seen, Shedeur's might be the best quarterback they have on the roster. Yes, you have Flacco, and you don't need to start Shedeur right away, but you have a fifth-round pick who could end up being a starter, which you're not really going to have to pay all that much. I think that's a win-win for both the team and Shedeur, but hey, that's just me. Let me know down below if you think he should be the starter or if you think he even makes...
Dan Orlovsky will sit up there. Now check. Correct me if I'm wrong, Adam Schefter, the great insider, the ultimate one. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Dan Orlovsky just bring up what the man did last year in college? Because, see, I didn't bring up Shedeur and the 72% completions. I didn't bring up Shedeur and those touchdowns, 30-plus touchdowns. I ain't bring none of that up, okay? But here you are bringing up something when we're talking about him and what he looked like in the NFL in this preseason game. That was a pick six and a fumble. Now, the Dan Orlovsky I know that I have so much love and affection for, I must say. Now, by the way, you know what, still needs to thank me a little bit more for that restaurant I treated him and his family to, because it was big time, and stop embarrassing me by going places and trying to use coupons. That's how pathetic he is.
But let's rewind. How exactly did Shedeur Sanders, the kid who walked into college football with the flashiest spotlight since Tim Tebow, suddenly leapfrog Dylan Gabriel, a quarterback with a resume longer than a CVS receipt? Well, for one, Shedeur has something that Gabriel doesn't, a last name that comes with built-in Wi-Fi connection to every camera and microphone in America. His father is Dylan Sanders, who doesn't just sell football dreams, he sells them with prime branding and a 24-hour marketing plan.
Be honest, tell the truth here. Shedeur Sanders killing it in rookie camp. Beating out Gabriel in rookie camp. OTAs, mini camp. Beating him out there. And then we get to training camp. And we have a run of practices. Dylan Gabriel completing like 20 to 30% of his passes. Shedeur Sanders, that whole time, 70 to 80% of his passes completed. Looking good on the field. There's practices out there where we're waiting for him to get reps. And I'm watching the live tweets. And I'm refreshing.
And you know what? Even the analysts who are supposed to be neutral are admitting they're rooting for this kid. One insider straight up confessed on television, "I'm rooting for Shedeur Sanders. I wanted to turn the film on and be able to come on First Take, be on Get Up, and be on NFL Live." That's an ESPN analyst breaking the fourth wall and admitting he wants to see this story succeed. When the media is openly cheering for your quarterback before he's thrown his first NFL pass, you know you've got something special brewing. But let's address the elephant in the room. The skeptics, the doubters, the people saying Shedeur should wait his turn behind Gabriel. These are the same folks who think franchise quarterbacks should politely stand in line like they're at the DMV. Since when do generational talents wait for permission to be great? Nobody told Justin Herbert to wait. Nobody shoved Joe Burrow behind some veteran backup just to ease him in slowly. And Cleveland, of all franchises, is going to play it conservative now? Please. The Browns playing it safe is like asking a toddler to perform brain surgery. It's not happening, and it definitely ain't working. The reality that these critics refuse to acknowledge is simple. Shedeur needs first-team reps, not practice squad scraps. He needs to be going against starting defenses, working with the first-string offensive line, building chemistry with the top receivers. You don't develop franchise quarterbacks by hiding them in bubble wrap. And here's what really separates Barry's decision from typical front office panic moves. This wasn't just about potential or upside. During the preseason, when it mattered most, Shedeur showed up. That first game against Carolina? Pure magic. He looked composed, confident, like he'd been playing at this level his entire life. Meanwhile, Gabriel was out there looking ordinary, efficient, but uninspiring. The difference was night and day, and Barry wasn't about to pretend otherwise just to appease the experience matters crowd. But of course, this is Cleveland, so nothing comes without controversy. Some fans are declaring Shedeur the Messiah, the chosen one who'll finally end their quarterback curse. Others are convinced Barry just traded stability for headlines, like he's running a PR campaign instead of a football team. And honestly, both sides have valid points, because Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback. He's a walking storyline. He's box office, must-see TV, the kind of player who transforms ordinary games into events. Gabriel is reliable, steady, the human equivalent of a Toyota Corolla. But Shedeur? He's a Ferrari, and Barry just decided Cleveland deserves to drive in style. Think about the marketing genius of this move. Cleveland hasn't been a glamour destination in decades. Free agents aren't exactly lining up to freeze in Ohio winters just to be part of another rebuilding project. But add Shedeur Sanders to the equation, and suddenly the Browns are interesting again. National headlines, primetime slots, jersey sales through the roof. Barry isn't just building a football team. He's constructing a spectacle, a reason for Cleveland to matter in conversations that don't end with laugh tracks. And let's not forget the locker room dynamic here. Players can sense energy, swagger, the intangible qualities that separate good teams from great ones. Having Shedeur as your quarterback sends a message. We're not here to participate. We're here to dominate. That kind of confidence is infectious. The type of leadership that elevates entire organizations. Meanwhile, Dylan Gabriel becomes the fascinating subplot in this drama. He's talented enough that he can't just disappear, which means every mistake Shedeur makes will be magnified, analyzed, compared. It's the NFL's favorite soap opera. Two capable quarterbacks, one starting job, and a fan base ready to riot over every incomplete pass. But here's what the doubters keep missing about Shedeur. Pressure doesn't break him, it energates him. The brighter the lights, the louder the crowd, the more impossible the situation, the better he performs. That's not just confidence. That's the DNA of a franchise quarterback. Barry recognized that quality and decided to unleash it on the NFL. Consequences be damned. Now, will this gamble pay off? Nobody knows for certain. Shedeur could struggle early, look like a rookie thrown into the deep end of the pool. He could have growing pains, make mistakes, give the Gabriel should be starting crowd plenty of ammunition. But here's the beautiful truth about Barry's decision. Failure isn't scary anymore in Cleveland. They've seen every possible variety of quarterback disaster. At this point, another disappointment is just Tuesday in Ohio. What matters is the possibility, that slim but tantalizing chance that Shedeur isn't just another name in Cleveland's quarterback graveyard, but the one who finally rewrites the ending. And even if it doesn't work out perfectly, one thing is absolutely guaranteed: it won't be boring. In a city that's been starved for excitement, for hope, for anything resembling relevance, that alone makes Barry's decision worth celebrating. The image of Shedeur leading Cleveland's offense isn't just compelling, it's revolutionary. Picture him in shotgun formation, the stadium erupting, the dog pound losing their minds, carving up defenses with the type of swagger that makes even neutral fans lean closer to their TVs. That's the vision Barry is forcing into existence. And honestly, It's about time.so whether you think Andrew Berry is a genius or a madman. One thing is crystal clear. He just made Cleveland Browns football appointment television again. And in a league where attention equals revenue and relevance equals respect, that might be the smartest move any GM has made all year. The Shedeur Sanders era in Cleveland is about to begin, and trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. What do you think? Is Andrew Berry a visionary, or is he gambling with Cleveland's future? And more importantly, are you ready to watch Shedeur Sanders take over the NFL, or do you think Dylan Gabriel got robbed? Drop your thoughts below because this debate is just getting started. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because with stories like this dropping every week, you definitely don't want to miss out on the drama that's about to unfold in Cleveland and across the entire league.